is realizing that there will be no use for him if there is no longer a genetic dynasty. What is his role in this thing? He's gonna be another guy that looks just like the no Brother Day, no Salvor, no Gale, but we still got a great episode of Foundation. Welcome back to Structure. I'm your host Lion, joined by my co-host Mystery. And Mystery, let us know what we're doing today.
We're reviewing episode 4 of The Foundation. What an episode, Lion. Let's get straight into it.
And without further ado, let's go. So, as I said in the intro, we got no Brother Day, no Gale, no Salvor in this episode, which is strange. I think it's the first episode we don't get any of those characters on screen, but we
Right.
still had a pretty decent episode, in my opinion. An episode that focused on three main points that I'm going to discuss in just a little bit. But before we
Yep.
get started, do us a huge favor. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share this on your socials, comment, let
Bang.
us know what you think about the show. Let us know if you want to have a conversation with us. We want to hear back from you guys. So let's get into a discussion. This is going to be a discussion of Foundation Season 2, Episode 4. Okay? I
Yep.
know you
Yep.
guys, let's look at our channel. I put out a video yesterday with a theory that I have in regards to what came out of this episode. I hope you guys enjoy that. Let me know if you agree with that particular assertion of mine in regards to what we saw. If I am off the base, if I am correct. So here we go. The three main points that this episode dealt with is one, how Hobart Mallow arriving at Terminus and meeting the vault, meeting with Harry inside the vault. That's the first point.
Over Madeline.
Second one
Mm-hmm.
was Bel Riois arriving in Siwena, which was a planet we first met in the first episode of this season. And the third point was Queen Seret trying to find out who's behind the disappearance, the death of her family in
Yeah.
Trenton. So she's doing a lot of stuff. Let's start with the first point. So Howard Mallow arrives into Terminus, a reluctant Howard Mallow. With we can see there's some sexual tension between him and Brother Constant, and he's immediately taken to the to the vault where he gets to meet the ghost or the AI version of Harry, which is different than the one we already seen in episode 1, 2, and 3 of this
Yep.
season. And he was accompanied by Polly Verisov. He was accompanied by the governor of the foundation, who's also the father of Brother Constant, alongside Brother Constant as well. Mystery, what was your thought in that scene in regards to Howard Malum finally arriving at Terminus, the stuff that was going on there, and finally getting into the vault?
Hey, let me just say this because I wasn't there last week, and I love Hober Mallet's character from the jump. He's like Indiana Jones slash Luke Skywalker, which same
Yeah.
guy, Harrison Ford. All together, he has that pizzazz. I love this
That's
guy. He
not Luke
has this.
Skywalker. That's Han Solo. I got you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry. Jesus,
Han
forgive
Solo.
me. Everybody, forgive me. So thank you. So he has that charisma, and absolutely love him. So with the him arriving to Terminus and the interaction with Brother Constant is very interesting. Uh, they sort of like offer him up as a sacrifice, uh, which is crazy. And he actually was accepted, which I didn't know at that point. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know whether he was going to get burnt up like his predecessor, or whether he was actually going to go into Terminus. And once he got there, there was nothing initially, so that was confusing as well. This was a very exciting scene, I think, and because we never been inside
This
the
vault.
vault before, right?
Yeah.
And so we didn't know
Wait,
what to expect.
I think Salvor may have gone in.
Maybe a
I don't
little
quite
bit,
remember.
maybe like maybe she did, but she didn't go that deep or something
Yeah,
like that.
she
But we
didn't go
didn't. It
quite
wasn't
deep.
that in depth. Yeah, it wasn't that in depth like before. So great scene, well executed, and I know there's a few more stuff to talk about what transpired in there, but I thought that was a great scene. What were your
Yeah,
thoughts on
so
it?
in Terminus we have the first the interaction between Brother Constant and Howard Mallow. Brother Constant is really into Howard Mallow, even letting him know, listen, I don't think I don't like too many people. I like you. I think you and I were meant to have something. Something may happen. I and she doesn't think they're gonna see each other again once he left the planet. I think this is gonna be explored later on. I don't think we're gonna have a love storyline that's gonna be left alone. So I think something's gonna happen there. I think there's something to be said to the fact that Harry or the AI that's inside of the vault didn't care too much by what the governor had to say. Every time the governor made a comment, all of the comments back from Henry there were nice suit, governor, nice suit, letting him know you're just a figurehead. I do not care for what you're doing. I don't care for your opinion. He was more concerned with Polly, with Brother Constant, and especially with Howard Mallow. And as you mentioned, Howard Mallow, charisma out the pores, loving this character. He's fun whenever he's on screen. He makes things a little more interesting, more dynamic. I'm really liking the persona. He's giving a secret mission to assist them in stopping the Emperor. What that mission is, I don't know. Where is he going? He's going by himself. We don't know that as of right now. But we know that he said he's meant to be that knife that's gonna poke into the Emperor, the Empire. And if we remember what the mule said, are you from the time from when Howard Mallow poked his eye or poked the Empire's eye? So there's something to be said to that where Howard Mallow maybe become an aggressor, maybe form some kind of army or an alliance that's gonna really affect the Empire. Maybe he's gonna form an alliance with Bel Riois and the fleet.
I, I found it really interesting that Harry he got a chance to catch up with what was going on the ground, where he saw uh, the brothers, and he said, "Oh, you're in the religious phase of things now." Like he already
Yes,
planned this out, which was intriguing, and also he knows that it's not going to last. It's going to transform. He even said that, and he had planned for all of that, which I thought was kind of crazy. But he also knew that it was important for them to go through that phase to get to their final result, which he envisioned. So spread the gospel, spread the word about the foundation and terminus and blah blah blah. And to add on to your point, like you said to the governor, he sort of reminded me of the artist from Entourage, where he didn't like suits. I don't like suits. Get away from me, suits. And he constantly was poking at the authority or presumed authority because he didn't want the other Harry was talking about how if there's only one foundation
mhm,
that would become a dictatorship and they wouldn't get a chance to blossom and take down the empire. And I think that governor represents that possibility.
exactly, exactly. I like that you put it that way. Then
Mm-hmm.
from that point, we move on to what's happening with Bel Riois arriving in Siwena. So Siwena is the planet that we first met Brother Constant and Polly Verisov. That's that desert planet where they were doing their magic tricks to convince all those people. And we see that Bel Riois arises. This is in the outer reach, a place where the Empire has forgotten, have moved away from, and it has descended into a little more of a Wild Wild West place. In here, he's to meet with a contact from the Empire to find out what's going on in there. We see that in the first time we met Bel Rios last Bel Riois is a man of honor, a man that is completely loyal to the Empire. However, in this episode, we got to see that he in prison has changed this man. He's now a different person. He's more ruthless, he's more aggressive, he's willing to act more impulsive, and he's definitely more violent. He had no qualms about killing the savages in the planet or about killing the contact, just shooting in the head, not having any feelings. And we can see how this affects his relationship with his second in command. I believe his name was Kerr. He was, taken by surprise that Bill is acting in this manner. He's not the same man he fell in love with. So we can see these cracks in that relationship. This is what makes me think: could Hobart Mallow meet with this guy with Bel Riois, convince him to turn against the Empire, and Bel Riois commanding the strongest fleet of the Empire could be that deterrent to stop the war with the
Hold
Empire
on.
and the Foundation. So that could be
So
something that
like
happens.
correct. Sorry. Correct me if I'm wrong, but last episode, Belriois's his second guy in command, he sort of alluded to like, they did all this stuff to you. Why would you still help them?
Yes.
Correct. So maybe Hooper Mallard convinces the number two in charge to do some type of mutiny or whatever, right? And because Belriois is not the man that he loved anymore, so you have that break and that rift where you have to choose because maybe he sees a different way now. As opposed to Belriois, who's loyal to a fault, he's loyal to the end, to the empire. Even though, despite what they did to him, I think that would be a crazy storyline. And
I like where you're going with that.
yeah,
Because if let's say if his second in command is the one that's turned against the Empire, and Bell decides to move forward, and the Empire forces Bel Riois to kill his lover, that could be what breaks Bel Riois to take his fleet against the Empire. I like where
there
you're
you
going
go.
with that. So
Yeah,
we saw that he's a change man, someone that's definitely different. He's gonna I like his character as well. There was an action scene, very interesting. We see how proficient both of them are at combat, just eliminating so many savages that came against them.
hmm
Moving on from that, then we have probably the most interesting part of the episode, which is in Trentor, where we met with Queen Sarah. We see Queen Sarah,
oh yeah.
and I have images here for you guys. My apologies, forgot to put those up earlier. Of course, always I'm a little behind on those, but for
It's
this,
all
I
good.
will.
My
So
oh,
we have Queen Sarah. She's flirting with Brother Don, who we already know is very infatuated by her. He likes her, and she's questioning him. She's crying, letting him know, listen, it's very coincidental that I was very removed and far away from getting the throne, and I'm the least likely member of my family that would have made any kind of alliance with the emperor, with the empire. And all of a sudden, out of one accident, everybody before me dies, and I'm now left in power. My dominion is left weakened. So is Brother Day behind this? So Brother Don has no clue what's going on, and we can see that first season one, the Brother Day that we met, Brother Don that we met then was very easily to convince, was very easily to be manipulated. He falls in love,
yeah.
goes, and this seems to be a case. Looks like at that stage in life, the Cleons are very susceptible to romance, very susceptible to being manipulated by women, and we can see that we've seen that in two seasons going back to back. Um, she tries to convince him of that. We also see that we see that Rue and Brother Dusk, and let me put that image up as well. Let's see, I have it right.
Mm, drum roll. Go
Rue
ahead.
and
Throw it.
Brother Does actually have history together. Rue, at one point many years ago, when Brother Dust was Brother Day, they had a copulation together. They engaged into
Horizontal dancing. Horizontal tango.
correct. They engaged into some very private stuff, and her memory was wiped. Her memory was manipulated, so she didn't remember. To the point that they even flirted back, "Hey, maybe we can watch the video in my room," and even hinted at creating some memories, as if insinuating they were gonna relive that moment because it was very good for both of them. So there is some kind of allure there, that there's some familiarity, and that's what brought me to my theory, which I'm gonna discuss in just a little bit. Um, and then finally, we have a scene where Queen Seret and her people are trying to convince or manipulate a guard into investigating or finding out for her about the death of her family. The guard is very scared to do it, and he's listen. They record everything, even this meeting right now is being recorded. They're gonna do a memory of it. I'm gonna be found out. She lets them know lets him know that her people have technology that they learned from what when Rue's mind was manipulated that allows you to bypass a memory audit. And this is where my theory comes in. I'll let you chime in, Mr. E.
No,
So
go ahead. Do your thing.
we
Yeah.
know that that Rue and Brother Dust had an intimate relation, and that her memory was manipulated, and this allows the Dominion to learn how to bypass this stuff. We know that
Hmm.
the Klingons are very traditional. They like to have their dynasty, genetic dynasty intact. However, Brother Day is going against that. He's looking to have his own kids with Queen Sarah and break that tradition. And I definitely know Brother Dusk does not like that at all. He doesn't want this to happen. He's very much against ending the genetic dynasty. And Brother Dawn is realizing that there will be no use for him if there is no longer a genetic dynasty. What is his role in this thing? He's gonna be another guy that looks just like the king. His life is in danger at that point. There's no use
Yep.
for him. So we can see that either of them will have somewhat of a motivation to stop this from happening. How does that happen? We know that on episode one, someone tried to assassinate Brother Day. We have ninjas that came in or blind angels at a specific moment where he was very vulnerable. The man was naked, engaging into intercourse with Demerzel, probably the most vulnerable moment. These people knew how to bypass his shield, so they had technology to bypass all of that. So that leads me to believe someone had to have knowledge, internal knowledge, on how to get to him at his most vulnerable moment.
Yeah.
So
You say
it makes me
it.
think that Brother
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Dusk had a motivation to help or contact Dominion to get this done because he probably knew that the Queen Sarah didn't want to do it. He probably hinted, listen, he might be the one behind your family disappearance. So let's work together. I'm gonna let you know how to bypass all these securities so you can get this done. And in exchange, maybe he knew that they can bypass the memory audit and helping, even when he gets audited, bypass all of that, making Brother Dust the more likely suspect to help out Queen Sarah try to eliminate Brother Day. What do you think of that?
I think there's some truth to it. I think there's a few things going on, and it's interesting on many different levels. Let me start off from the beginning. I think that Queen Sarah is her objective is to be the wedge that drives the empire apart, and you see that by the way that she's sort of playing around with Brother Dawn, dropping little seeds in his mind, seeds of doubt, and so on and so forth. And then also at the end, she says, I don't see why you and I couldn't marry. So she's sowing different seeds and causing that rift in between him and his brothers. For one, they have Dusk, who's all about tradition, right? And like you were saying, and his tradition's going to be broken, things to be different from what he's going through all three generations. So like this guy, he's set in his ways. It has to be this way. That's he was dawn, day, and now dusk. He wants the pattern to continue, right? And
Yep.
then yeah, and then you have Queen Sarah. She knew who the assassins were, right? And she's wondering why did they fail? Like how did they fail, right? And so she may have not been the cause of it of this one, but she has some knowledge. She knows the people who are behind it, and maybe she's working with them, or she's going to work with them in the future, something like that. She doesn't like obviously, she doesn't like the Empire. She's trying to get back at him for killing the family. She just needs to know. And they have this whole operation of, I need beyond circumstantial evidence. She said that she has circumstantial evidence, but she's looking for clear evidence that they were, so that I'm guessing she could exact revenge. Like she just doesn't want to know and then marry the killer of her family. That doesn't make sense, right? So yeah, so I think this whole thing is a ruse. She's able to get closer than any other person, any other uh, woman, and not just that, but her guards and everybody with her. They're closer to the Empire and to Brother Day, Dusk, and Dawn than anybody right now. So yeah, you mentioned he was vulnerable with the assassination. He's vulnerable right now, and it's an ongoing issue. So not to not to go on too long, but I think that uh, Queen Sarah is there for revenge, and if she can't get revenge, she's going to drive a wedge in between the brothers and have them self-destruct.
I like that. I like that. So with that said, we discussed the three main points of this particular episode. We definitely look forward to the episode 5. Let's get to the point. We're gonna rate the episode between 1 and 10, giving our opinion. Let's get to that, and you guys can let us know what do you rate the episode. Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Mr. E, what is your rating for this particular episode?
So I think the season, like I gotta say, this season is worth the year and a half that we had to wait. Actually, like year and 3 quarters that we had to wait for the second season to come out. It's completely different than the first season, right?
Yeah,
The moon, everything is completely
yes,
different. It's more Star Wars esque, which I know there's a correlation, but it's more Star Wars esque, and just it's just built out like that, and it's just that good. So I think that this episode, I'm going to rate it as a 9 because even though we didn't have the main characters in here, the storyline was amazing. And also, we got to see some things that we never saw before. And these were big, even though there were somewhat character development stages or whatever, there still was a lot. They still packed a punch in it. And I think that last episode, since it wasn't there, last episode was 9. I think that Foundation season 2 right now, 4 episodes in, they're coming with the heat. What are your thoughts, Ryan?
I agree. This season has been from beginning to now. It's been great. The storylines are very interesting. I have to say, I a little disappointed with not seeing Brother Day. Lee Pace, probably my favorite character, or Brother Day is my favorite character in this show. He kills when he's on screen, so I'm gonna dog a few points because of that. Last episode was very good. This
Yes.
one wasn't as good as as the last 2 episodes, but it was pretty decent. I enjoyed it from beginning to end. It even made me think about what's happening. Where I came up with this particular theory, where I may be wrong, maybe right. Who knows, right? But pretty much I'm wrong. Who knows? I'm gonna rate this episode an 8. It's really good, good score. I enjoyed it. It's just no lead pace, and it's slightly come down from last week's episode, but still very good, very entertaining. So there's nothing to sneeze at. So 8
I'm
and a
with you on
9.
that.
So with
There you
that
go.
said, sorry,
Uh-huh.
we'll be back next week with another discussion of this particular show. Let us know what your opinions was of the episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
What do you
Uh,
rate this episode? Go
and
ahead.
don't forget to put it in the comments. I'm Mr. E. Without further ado, let it take us home.
Hey, listen, we love the foundation. We're going to continue to the end of the season. Then there's more shows coming out, and look for those other reviews on the shows that come out. Until then, I'm Mystery. This is Lion, and we are
On structure.